Greetings, the Dancing Yogi here. I have been summoned to do a video. My friend Ruth is here to set us up with an inquiry, and we'll take it from there. So, by the way, I channeled the Nyana Collective, and they are a collective consciousness, fifth dimensional vibration, and they are the benevolent unseen, here to guide us and assist us as we journey through these interesting times. Go ahead.
Good morning. Our question and concern this morning is the role of the feminine frequency, the feminine vibration in the changes in the world that are coming about. And we believe there is a message for all of us in that area.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth. The question is about the feminine imperative, how it is relevant in modern times, in these times, and how it is not only relevant, but imperative. It always was an imperative, but it was an imperative that was overshadowed by the masculine imperative. So we have to be clear that imperatives of one, well, we'll call it feminine versus masculine, one gender versus the other, has nothing to do with the physical gender of the personality. Imperatives are what is essential for the times, what is important to be aware of, and at this time, in any given moment. So the feminine imperative is not a call for women to be empowered and men to be disempowered. It's for the feminine agenda to be balanced out with the masculine agenda that has been oppressing and oppressive for eons. And so this is a call to women and men with a growing feminine imperative to stand up and speak out and be heard and be a voice for the feminine imperative. So, what is the feminine imperative? Well, you can probably imagine that the feminine imperative is less about strong arming and taking control and competitive competition for power. Now, does that mean that there are not women who strong arm and who are very competitive and who like to be in control? Yes. And does that mean that there are men that are more conciliatory and more unifying in their bearing? No. It means, yes, there are men like that. And yes, there are women who are aggressive, very aggressive. So again, we're not talking about woman versus man. We're talking about the feminine imperative versus the masculine imperative. So what is coming through at this moment from the Nyana Collective is the Mary or Miriam energy, the energy of the healers. These are women that some would maybe refer to as eccentric women. and another word that comes to mind is the energy of the gypsy women. These are women that are this imperative is not demure. It is not a you first because you're a man, so you get to make the choices, you get the biggest pork chop at the table, so to speak, because you're a man. It's not that energy. This is a very powerful energy. It is a very powerful voice, the voice of Miriam, the voice of Mother Earth, the voice of Nyana. Nyana is the spiritual side of the earth. And so, what would the earth be saying to you? What would your Mother Earth be saying to you? What would your mother be saying to you? Be kind. Be aware of keeping things in balance. And when you see someone being harmed, stand up for them. So, whether you're a man or a woman, do not bully people. Now, let's talk about women. So, women can be just as oppressive as men. And society has pitted women against each other to compete, to judge, to envy. Society has created uh, factions between women. And when women come into power, if they are not wise to the messages of the benevolent unseen, in other words, if they are not self aware, if they do not have an expanded consciousness, they can be every bit as oppressive as any of the worst dictators that have ever been in power. So do not be fooled by gender. But there are many men and women who are longing for and now must stand up and demand a more balanced, and she's going to use the word more justice, more equilibrium, and we're going to go with that, more equal and equilibrium in the balance of power. And we don't mean between men and women exactly. We do honor that women have not had as easy a time gaining power as men. But what do we even mean by power? The most powerful thing that ever happens on planet Earth or in the universe is creation, giving birth to the new, empowering the new, empowering a new way, a new paradigm, a more expanded consciousness on earth, heaven on earth, a kingdom of, we're going to call it a queendom of heaven on earth. So again, it's about that larger paradigm in which equilibrium, a sense of balance is restored, and not only restored, but is given birth to in a way, because it has been eons since it's been balanced on earth, in your history for the first time. You're giving birth to this beautiful new paradigm. You're in the birthing pains right now, whether you're a man or a woman. If you are in agreement that this needs to happen, that we need to have a more of a feminine imperative on earth, if you are in agreement with that, you're feeling the birth pains. Just as a husband sometimes feels his wife's birth pains or will eat for his wife when she's pregnant, he's in alignment, he's synchronized with her. They are entangled at that time. So we want to get rid of this idea that women are of a certain of a certain brand and men are of another brand. We want to get rid of that idea because some of the strongest women, some of the strongest people in the world who have created the most positive changes in your history, in your timeline, these have been women. They may not be known for it because history will not have written it in their favor. But that is the truth. And now women are having to recognize that they can only go so far without coming together. And she doesn't know the word we're looking for, so let's give her a minute there. In a unifying voice, like a symphony in harmony. So women and men with strong feminine imperatives must unify their voices. And this can be there are many variables of how that looks, of how to achieve that. And this is why we ask you to be meditative, to be self-aware, to study the common principles of all great faiths, and to let them blossom through you as you become a leader. And being a leader does not mean that you have to be above anyone else, but it means you show the way by embodying these principles in your own life. So now is the time. This is where you are. You're at that gate of balancing out the imperatives of humanity and of a civilized, functional, efficient, and effective way of living in which things are not dysfunctioning, not inefficient, and not ineffective. So you see, you're just going away from all of that. And we're not putting humankind down. We are applauding you because you have come to that precipice and you are now ready to enter into a higher consciousness collectively. So this is not a put down. It's simply time. It's time to graduate into that new awareness. We are the Nyana Collective. We are happy to have spent this time with you, and we wish you a good day. Namaste. Okay, thank you. I am the Dancing Yogi, Patricia Alley. I also teach movement classes. I specialize in working with difficulties in movement, working with people who maybe aren't interested in doing flips and handstands, but want to keep their bodies vital and enhanced. So I work with that energy. So there are many videos that I'm learning to film with my friend Ruth. We're diligently working on this, and we invite you to go on this journey with us and join us for some of the movement sessions. And I'll put a link below once I figure out how to do that so that you can find the other videos. But there'll be more coming out. We're committed to doing as many as we can. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaste.